Since I started carp fishing, it's pretty much all been in Lea Valley Park. Well, all the lakes in the valley, none of them have really got like dedicated car parks and stuff like that. If they are, they're a walk, and a good walk from the pits and stuff. If you want to fish it right, in my opinion, lots of walking, and like anything in life, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out.
What is the Lea Valley?
So, you know, it is a valley of pits starting up just outside of London and then running up. They're all pretty much mature gravel pits. Most of them have all got crays, so you've got that to contend with. But there's always something going on, even if you're not catching, like being public parks. You're gonna have people walking around in the night. You can't really leave your gear and go for a walk round because in the back of your head you're like, I've got to get back, I've got to get back. Minimal stuff on your barrow and you haven't got to worry about leaving it and then having to rush back. You can just push it around with you. I've always just loaded up my barrow and just plenty of walks around, travel light. You know, it's a public park, so you've got loads of stuff to contend with. It's like your bedroom. Yuck. When I first decided I was going to have a proper go at carp fishing, after match fishing and doing course fishing and stuff like that, I lived in Cheshunt, still in that area, and then my old man had always spoke about fishing the Met as a kid when he was tench fishing and stuff like that. So I always had an interest in it, and as a kid used to ride my bike around and stuff. The actual main body of the lake you could divide into two, and one side I always used to favour, I guess, just because they always seemed a little bit easier to find up there. And that suited just being super quiet. And if you did only have one night, sometimes I think it's counterproductive, spending ages trying to find perfect spots. I know it's super popular, and I'm not saying that it isn't a great tactic, especially if you've got a bit more time and you're going to commit to an area. But I think when you're just turning up and you've done the hard bit and you found a load of fish or you found a couple of fish, I think sometimes it can be counterproductive then trying to think, right, I've got to find a spot, and then you're getting a leading rod out and you're casting a few casts or multiple casts trying to find a spot. Sometimes going the other way is better. And that's where chod fishing used to suit that. It's quick, it's quiet, and it's super effective. It's getting done less and less and less, I think, whereas carp fishing gets more and more popular. People seem to think that the norm for carp fishing is turning up and trying to find a spot, and I think if you go the complete opposite way, it can pay off. A lot of my chod fishing, when you are pushed for time, you're getting there after work, don't really want to have to be tying up chods. So what I do is keep 3 or 4 in a little tube, and it's just a case of just tying them to a swivel that you've got on your leader ready to go. I do that all here just because then you're not wasting time. Once you get to the lake and you do find something, you've got to sit and tie a thing. You've got to get your lighter out and try and blob the loops and stuff like that. So that's just one knot, and then away you go, you're fishing. It's just quiet, I think, is the main thing with it. And I've caught some of my best fish, and my biggest have all been like this, just being super quiet and just flicking them out without them even knowing that they're being fished for. And the other great thing about this is the lightness of it and the gear. You know, if you commit to it, you ain't got to take things like spod rods, marker rods. You can just take your fishing rods, sandwich bag full of bait, throwing stick, no buckets or anything like that. It can all go in one bag on your back. It's just a great way of early spring fishing. The essence of chod fishing is the speed of it. They're simple to tie and quick. Well, the really important thing with it is having a super sharp hook. You're relying on the fish picking up the hook bait and the weight of the leader, the leg core in this situation, and that's what sets the hook. I take my time, make sure that the hook is razor sharp. And height-wise, I think 2.5 inches, something like that, just because I think it's in their face. When you first get up, your eyes are a bit blurry, and the fish are the same. They've been frozen for 3 months or wherever long the winter is. So something blatant like that, just to catch their attention when they're in them sort of warm upper layers. Spring fishing, they go where they want to be. So that's where this is ideal. because you can just go where they want to be and you ain't got to worry about trying to find places to cast it. You can just flick it out. Using your eyes, you use a tiny little, as light a lead as I can. Having zips, I think, as well is a good, only a tiny little thing, probably doesn't make that much difference, but they go out, if you catch them right, they make the tiniest little plop over like a pear or something like that. So it's just another thing when the whole point of it is you're trying to be quiet. A nice small lead, and even if it's just the tiniest little thing, and just for my own confidence, when you catch these right, they literally go pip. It's no real different to catapulting out a bait. My PB's fishing like this, like pretty much on that exact setup. That was from the Met, a fish called Basil. We had been on a bike ride like with the kids, and there was a little corner of the Met right down the other end, and I stopped like normal, like it was a regular haunt for them. So I stopped on my bike. Everyone was waiting and looked, and there was about 3 or 4 like good uns all in this little corner. So I had that clocked. Finished the bike ride and I was like, right, I've got to get back. So got a few bits out of the garage and then off I trotted down there, and got down there, and there was people, like I say, if you're not quick, ultimately there's lots of, at the time there was a high standard of angler on that lake, so they didn't go unnoticed. Walked right round, so I probably walked all the way down the railway bank, so it's a good 20 minutes, half-hour walk with your stuff. And there's another little bay, climbed this spindly little tree, and there was about 4 or 5 like little stockies all milling in this little bit of weed, like perfect like chod territory, like when you're talking like from the floor, like that sort of depth with all weed coming up. It just looked perfect where you could just flick them out. But there was something in my head that this little bay was dead end to my left, and I was thinking they just didn't look like they were going to just overnight there. It was just like they were happy there, but I felt like once they were out, if they left, I wasn't convinced that that was going to be the best place. So carried on watching them. They stayed there the whole time, but where I was enabled me to watch them, but I also had another big bit of water that I could fish from the same swim. Left them to it, started fishing out in front of me, pinged out like half a pouch full at a time, 3-4 bivvy size spread, and I probably put out maybe about 1 kilo. Popped 2 of these out, both the same, just either side of it. Just set my bed out, I was right on my rods. And then first thing in the morning I woke up and there was a coot, and he was just sort of circling the spot, and every now and then he'd dive down and pick up a bait. And I was watching him thinking, right, I was quite happy with that, knowing that the crays hadn't completely ruined it. Like they were never that bad, the crays, if you were fishing in the weed. I think they find it hard to walk on it, even though they do walk on it, but it was better fishing like that than on a gravel spot. So I watched this coot go round and round, and then on just one occasion, he just bobbed along. He dived down, and you could just gauge the depth that he had dived. He hadn't made it to the bottom, and he popped up, and then he was like looking back, and you're thinking, right, as he clocked, like, is the leader sat funny? Like, is he? There was something there he wasn't happy with. And then as I was thinking in my head, hopefully he's done that because it was a fish. My left hander was just lovely chod bite where the like fluorocarbons just limp off the tip, like going in that nice curve like that into the water. And then before I saw the indicator move, I saw the line just start picking up. And then as I got to rod, the indicator was like right in the alarm. And then picked it up, felt like a good fish the whole way in. And the water there, like it was when was this? Probably like March time. No, it's probably a bit later than that actually. But as I'm playing it, thinking like this feels like a proper one, and where I was, it could only really like just charge up and down once I'd brought it back a bit. And as it come past me, you could just tell instantly that it was basil. Like it had quite a long wrist of its tail, but then a tiny little like short stubby tail. You can see the depth of it. So I knew instantly I was attached to it. And then it was quite well behaved up and down, and then went in the net, and then yeah, just stuck the net in the grass and phoned someone else that was fishing to come down and do the pitch for me. Woo!
That'd be 49 pounds.
I think that's why you end up getting so attached and confident in them, like when you have trips like that. It's like fly fishing for carp.
work directions? Do you want me to do anything else? Or?
You stick out, I'll